Well, today I have with me Jill Schultz, and we actually got connected through another podcaster that I met, which is really great because I'm sure Jill's got a lot of stuff that she'd like to share. I'm told that she's got a great journey that she'd like to share, and it's not just from her personally; it's from our mutual friend Jacqueline that I met. So I'm just going to throw this out to you first, and why don't you just start with either A, what you're doing now, or B, you could start with how you got to where you are now.
Okay,
Oh,
well, I want to just first off set the stage because the conversation that you and I are about to have is a conversation that people are not talking about. And now that I've been telling my story as long as I have, it has lost power for me. But for people who are hearing this for the first time, or for people who this is actually their story and they're hearing it from somebody else's mouth, it's going to be impactful. And so I want to let those people know that I see you and you're not alone. And I am doing this because I want people to know that if this is your story, you get to forgive yourself and you get to love yourself and you get to live an amazing life. So I just want people to be prepared for what is about to be said now. So um, I was around 3 or 4 years old when I was first sexually molested. And I'm so grateful for the hashtag Me Too movement and all the things, because I feel like now people are able to really share their stories more around that. It's becoming more normalized to talk about it and to get past the shame around that, because it's typically the person who was molested that feels all the shame around that. Sorry, that's not true. But anyway, what and that was my story. I don't remember who did it. I don't need to remember who did it. I forgave that person a long time ago. And forgiveness is a really important step in being able to move past this. So acknowledging that it happened and then forgiving that person, that's for you. That's not for the other person. But what happened was I was the little girl who, because somebody showed me sex, I was the little girl who was acting out with other children sexually. And that happened in between the ages of 7 and 12 years old. And I have lived with this massive shame cloud over my head for 41 years. And so I'm here sharing my story because I want you to know that you're not alone. And if somebody had been talking about this 20, 30, 40 years ago, and I was able to be like, okay, I'm not the only person that ever did that, because I thought I was the only person who ever acted out like that. I thought I was a monster. I thought I was a pedophile. At 12 years old, I thought these adult thoughts, when in actuality, I was just a little girl and I was just acting out from what somebody else taught me to do. And so my only purpose now is to say, you get to love yourself, you get to forgive yourself, and you get to live a fucking amazing life, because it is beautiful on the other side once you start talking about this, once you start sharing it. And, if this doesn't resonate with you, what might is everybody has a secret. You have a secret, and secrets hold us back in life. And so getting to the place where you can actually say it out loud and start talking about it is so important for you to get to the point where you are able to forgive yourself and love yourself and start, creating a magical life for yourself, because you deserve to have that life. So that's a little bit about me.
yeah. Oh boy. So how did you find out to forgive? How did you find a way to forgive yourself? Because I'm sure that was a journey and a process alone.
Yeah, it's been a 41-year journey. So when I was in my 30s, like I said, I had this cloud. Like, I always like to use the visual of Pigpen, where he's got all of his dirt and all of his dust around him. Like, I had that cloud above my head, and everywhere I went, that cloud was there. And I was around 33 years old, and I realized that I wasn't connecting with men. And I would go very, very, very long times without having relationships. And like, I would be out at a club and a man would look at me and I'd immediately look down. Like, I did not want somebody to see me. I thought, how could a man love me if he knew what I had done? And now I say, how can a man not love me knowing what I've been through, and, you know, how I've overcome all this. But at 33, knowing that, I was like, okay, something's not right here. And so that's when I started going to therapy for the first time. And I saw a therapist. I also did Landmark Education. Do you know Landmark? Have you heard of Landmark Education? It's a very deep, transformational look at your soul, look at you, stop pointing your finger at everybody else because 3 fingers are pointing back at you type of work. And I was doing those in conjunction with each other. And so those were the first steps that I took to start releasing this, but it's been a very, very long process for me.
So how many years of therapy did you go through?
I think I saw that therapist for maybe 3 or 4 years, and then I was healed. Or so I thought, or I went back. That's the thing about sexual trauma, is it goes in waves. Like, you'll remember and then you forget, and then you remember and then you forget. And I think I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm healed. Yay. And then I was, how old was I? 41 years old, I think. And I was still, so a lot of things can go along with sexual trauma: eating disorders, alcohol, drug abuse, self-harming, promiscuity. You know, there's a lot of those things. Well, for me, I was bulimic until I was 41 years old. And so after doing my first stint of therapy and doing Landmark and feeling like I was okay, I realized, I'm like, you better get a handle on this or you're going to die. And so I went in to see a different therapist at 41 years old. And that was kind of like my second step at the healing process. And the interesting thing was that the day that I walked into his office was the last day that I purged. For some reason, I felt some sort of accountability towards him, and I wanted him to be proud of me. I don't know what it was, but that was the last time that I ever purged, was when I started seeing him.
So it was a waking moment for you?
I'm sorry, so it was what?
It was an awakening moment for you?
Yeah, I think I just finally got to the place where I was like, okay, you got to get a handle on this, you know? And so being with him was like an like an aha moment of, okay, this gets to be the beginning of where your healing gets to start here. Yeah.
Okay. And so you had some setbacks, I guess, through your life with dealing with all this, right? And besides the men part, what other setbacks was there? And your nutrition and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's held me back in many ways. You know, when you don't feel like you deserve things in life because of shame, like, shame holds us back in so many ways. And that's why I said, you know, this may not be exactly what you're ashamed of, but you may have a secret. You know, you may have cheated on a spouse. You may have, and I'm not telling you to go tell your spouse that you cheated on them, but you know, may have shoplifted when you were a teenager, like whatever that might be. Shame holds us back in a lot of different ways. And it held me back in business. It held me back in love and in relationships, and just, you know, the self-confidence. And yeah, those 2 areas are probably the biggest areas in my life where this has held me back.
Do you think shame is part of like lying to yourself or lying to others to cover it up?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not making the connection with shame and lying. Hiding, yes. Lying, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so lying wouldn't be like hiding then.
Yeah, I'm not that I'm just not making the connection. I mean, maybe you want to go deeper into that. So
yeah, I will, just because I had a guest come on and he found himself lying a lot and he got tired of lying. So he started telling the truth. And that sounds like a little bit like what you're saying, because you're opening up and telling the truth of what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. Because you're masking everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to put the spin on that one earlier.
No, I love eye-opening moments, and, you know, I'm here to learn, and I'm here to help people to get past what's holding them back. So I love the perspective.
Yeah. Thank you. And
Yeah.
so do you, I'm assuming you're helping people with anything, or is it just through, being molested?
On the shame side of things.
Yeah.
So this is all brand new to me. Just last June, I don't know if you have faith or if you don't have faith. I'm a Christian. I call God, God. You may say source, universe. You may not believe it all, but don't turn this off just because you don't believe. But God decided that I got my story. And so this just has come about since last June. I started writing my book in July. The book is in publishing right now, and it'll be out hopefully the end of September. So I'm at the very beginning journey of how I get to help people around this. But that's really all I'm here to do, is to help you unhook from that shame so that you can live your best life ever.
So that shame would be anything, or would it be?
I guess. I mean, my story, I obviously vulnerably share my story.
Mhm.
And if you have something that's holding you back and I can help you with that, then absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So going through the journey you went through, did you find like your friends supporting you, or maybe they ran away, something along those lines?
Is that a puppy?
Yeah, she's 2 years old.
Hi, puppy. So I didn't tell anybody, like nobody knew my secret. In fact,
Okay.
it's really funny because as I recently in the last year, and I'm glad you're asking me this question, because I think it's really important to find somebody to talk to. And I'm going to say this first before I go to me sharing with my friends. I remember going into therapy and thinking, how can I tell this person what I've done? Like, because I thought I was a monster and a pedophile, I went into those sessions thinking, if I say this out loud, they're going to think I am a monster and a pedophile. And one of the most beautiful things that has happened through this whole experience with my therapist and with my friends that I've shared with since is the level of love and compassion and understanding that people have when you actually get brave and courageous to share your story. So please find somebody to talk to, even if the first time you're looking in a mirror and saying it out loud to yourself, or you're journaling it down, you have to get it out of your body. So my friends have been unbelievable. My family have been unbelievable. Every person that I have shared, and I wanted my closest people to know my story before the book came out. So in the last year, I've probably shared, outside of the podcasts and things that I've been doing, I've probably personally shared my story with about 40 different people. And I have not had one person be like, oh my God, you're terrible. Or it has been 100% love and compassion and understanding. And oh my God, I can't believe that you lived with that secret as long as you did. And why didn't you tell somebody? And, it's been a beautiful, beautiful experience.
That's great. That's good to hear. And I'm sure maybe there's some people you're talking to that might be hiding something too. And maybe one day they'll come out and open up a little bit.
That's why the book is what it is, because
Okay.
as I started sharing my story, people started saying, that's my story too. And I want little kids who act out sexually with other children is way more common than anybody can even imagine. So if this is your story, I want you to know that. But it was really beautiful. I was very, very hesitant to, in fact, I didn't want to write the book. As soon as I was like, okay, this is my purpose in life, I just want to get on stages and shout it from the rooftops. But I was told if I want to get on stages, I need to have a book. And so that's how the book came about. But there are many, many, I've only written 2 chapters in the book. All the other chapters are other people who are sharing their stories of, yes, that was me too, or forgiveness for the person who hurt them. My therapist has written a chapter in the book about what to look for and how to talk to your children so they're not targets. And then I didn't want to leave people with this just being cracked open and nowhere to go. So that the last part of the book is really, stories of triumph and how, you really do get to live the life of your dreams. I believe that everything that's on our hearts was given to us by God, and you get to have those things. Like, I don't want a fishing boat. That's not on my heart. I want a jet and a yacht, So everything that's on your heart was given to you, and you get to have those things. And so the last couple of chapters in the book is really about manifesting and creating the life that you love, because every day that we wake up, we get to choose what our life looks like. We get to make decisions as to, like, if you want to be fit and healthy, go to the effing gym, get up and go to the gym. If you want to have a successful business, listen to podcasts, get help, get coaching. I believe 100% in paying for coaching. So, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Talking about your book, and at the end, how you're trying to.
It's the end is hopefully light and hopeful for people, because when you get your story out, when you get your secret out, that's when you get to have this blank canvas where you get to create your life from. So,
all right. And does this book have a title?
It does. It is called Liberated, Releasing the Dark Cloud of Shame. Yes, Liberated. Okay. The main title. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Thank
you. Yeah. So you go ahead and you just shared how you get to wake up and you have your day and you get to live it the way you want. Is there something you do in the morning to wake up and have that great day?
Yes. I have a practice, and I find that when I don't do my morning ritual, my day goes to shit. So I meditate, and I listen to different meditations, and 99% of them are all about manifesting and creating a beautiful life. So I don't know if you feel like manifesting is woo-woo, but to me it's woo-hoo. And that's my time where I get to be closest to God. It's the time where I get my creative energies flowing, and I start my day saying, today is led by the Holy Spirit. Everything that I do today is led by the Holy Spirit. And what do I need to do today to help somebody else? So that's kind of my morning practice.
Okay. And so your mind just wanders off and start thinking about how you can help somebody?
Yeah, I get divine downloads. So, like, for example, today, there is a woman that I was referred to, and I had forgotten about her, and she popped up on my phone, and she has a TV show. And so I reached out to her today and said, hey, I'd love to come on and share my story. So that was the one thing today that I felt like was one step that I could do to move forward to helping people to release their secret.
Awesome. That's good. Yeah. Hey, yeah. So
this,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, this all worked out, right? Yeah. Isn't it great? So I kind of do the same thing in a little bit in the morning. I'll meditate and I'll listen to something positive and all that stuff. And I also agree with you. I find it, if you don't do it, you're off. You know what I mean? It just throws your whole day off.
Yeah.
Now, I also say too, probably don't keep on doing it so it gets stagnant. So you want to miss it sometimes. Maybe not on purpose, but you miss a few things and then you go, oh, I didn't do that. And this is why I want to keep on doing it. So you go back to it.
Mine's more about laziness.
Laziness.
Days that I miss are more about laziness. Yeah. I feel like, that's 100% a true statement.
So how would you fix being lazy then?
Just committing to doing it. It's the same thing as working out. If you commit to doing it every day, and I'm talking to myself right now because I hurt my foot. And so I haven't been able to do anything for the last week and a half, but it's all about making that commitment. And that's why successful people are successful, is because they're very specific about their daily activities and they don't let themselves off the hook. They do the things that they know are important, whether it's writing down your goals every day. I know Grant Cardone every day sits down and writes out his goals, so there's sticking to those daily practices, and building that muscle is what gets people to the level of success. And whether or not you want money or not, I'm not saying success is related to money. For me, it is, because I know the more money I make, the more people that I get to help. But building that muscle of being consistent is what. And at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, I had a great day today because I was doing the things that I know I needed to do in order for me to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, you always try to make yourself better, right? At least 1% better every day.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big percentage.
1%? 1% is not a lot, but
Compound. If you miss that, then the week you're like, oh, crap, I missed 7% growth.
yeah. Um, so these people are going to read this book and they're going to listen to you and go on this journey about trying to find help or, um, I guess reaching out to you or a therapist or something like that. Am I right? Is that sound about right?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's jilleschultz.com, and I would think that you'll probably have that in the show notes.
Mhm.
And on my website, there's a resources section, and there's a get help section there. So I am not a therapist. I am an expert by experience, but I'm not a therapist. So I have please, like, if this is you, or if you've been triggered at all today by this conversation, find help, find somebody to talk to. There's lots of different organizations that you can connect with, like RAIN. There's I'm sorry if my computer's dinging. I got a new computer and haven't figured out how to turn it off yet. There's a Incest Survivors Anonymous organization. There's Overeaters. There's a lot of different resources that you can do for free and anonymously, because I realize that this, like, saying it for the first time is scary AF. And so find somebody that you trust and just please get help. Find a therapist, but do something to make sure that you're supporting yourself right now, for sure.
Yeah. And so what is the best way for somebody to connect with you besides your website?
Yeah. I'm on Insta, so I'm sure you'll have that in the show notes as well. Instagram, Facebook. You can opt in. We have a couple of different worksheets that I have. One is called Uncover Your Shame. So if you know that there's something that's hidden, or you just want to sit down and figure out what that is, one of my favorite questions on there is, what is one thing only you and God know? And you can get that worksheet. I also have another worksheet called 7 Steps to Releasing a Secret. So if you opt in for those, you'll get on my email list, and you can stay connected with me also through my email list. But I'm out there on all the platforms.
Okay. And on that, what's that?
I said, or most of them anyway. I don't do
Most of
TikTok.
them. Yeah.
You're not gonna find me on TikTok.
All right. So for somebody to find your book that's coming out, would that be on the website too?
Yes, we are today or tomorrow. The book will actually, and we're in July, August 1st right now. Yeah. So by the time this airs, the book will be available on the website. It may be pre-order, but it will be available for purchase on the website for sure.
Okay. All right, great. I do have one question I ask every pod or every episode I have.
Okay.
So what are 3 key things you've learned and used along your journey?
Okay. I love this. Do the hard shit first.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, that is your dark cloud, because my cloud is gone now. I look for that cloud and it is gone. Look at the hard thing in your life that you have been avoiding over and over and over again. Look it in the eye and say, you don't have power in me over me anymore, and deal with it. That's the first thing. You get to be brave and courageous. Like, you really get to, be your best self and live your best life. And the third thing that I would say is, write down 5 things that you really, really, really want and you didn't think you could have, because you actually get to have those things.
How's that work though? Let's go off of that real quick here.
Yeah.
So you write down 5 things that you think you can't have that you really, really want. And then what?
So I heard this. Do you know who Amanda Francis is?
I do not.
Okay. She wrote a book called Rich as Fuck. And she's all about manifesting and all the things. And she's the one that I heard say, everything on your heart is yours to have. And this is the key. It's your job every single day. And you know this because you do your morning meditation and your morning practice. But the key is to write it down, say it out loud, but then feel what it feels like to have it, because that's what brings it in, is when you can be feeling what it feels like to have that. So I'll give you an example of something that I wanted really bad. I have two houses on one lot, and I was living in my apartment, my 1-bedroom apartment, and I was renting out my 5-bedroom house. And I set a goal that I was going to move back into my house by October of this last year. And so I manifested it and I felt it. And I've been in my house since October of last year. So now I rent my apartment, which is great. I do vacation rentals. Come to San Diego and see me. But that's just one example of something that I've created and manifested in my life. And last month I had a financial goal that I hit as well. So I'm not doing a 1% a day increase. I'm doing a 5% a month increase for my financial goal. And last month we hit it, and I'm running my numbers right now, and I'm 99% sure we hit that goal too. So it works. It really works. And it's fun. Like, I would rather every day daydream and be silly and giggly and, playful and co-create with God than be a half glass full person that's like, well, I can't have that. It's so much more fun to be in the space of manifesting and creating.
And you do that every day?
Every day.
So,
Well, except for my lazy days.
which you got to work on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would manifest, or you would say these things in the morning, I would assume?
Yep. I do my visualizations in the morning. Yes. When I'm
Okay.
doing my meditations and my visualizations. And another thing that I learned, so I do coaching. I have a couple different coaches. I told you before, I pay for coaching. It's so important to help you get to where you want to get in life. But Sarah Cannell is the woman who I have done coaching with to get the book done. And she teaches how to get on stages and all that kind of stuff. And she has an abundance accelerator that we just recently did. And one of the things that I found important, and she says, is every single day, have some sort of meditation, like be in the energy of manifesting all the time. Read books that are about manifesting. Listen to a hypnosis. On my website, I have a hypnosis that's on manifesting. So you always want to be in that energy of manifesting every single day.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for diving into that a little bit there. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It's my favorite thing. In fact, I love the book and I love all this stuff. Like, even though I didn't want the book, I'm very proud that the book is written. And I hope that it helps thousands and thousands of people. But really what lights me up is teaching about manifesting and creating and, getting to do that. So thank you for letting me do a little deeper dive into that.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, Joe, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm glad we got to meet and you got to share your journey with our listeners.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you have any last words, feel free to share it. And other than that, that's it.
Do the hard shit.
Do the
Look at hard shit and say it out loud. Find somebody to talk to. Please find somebody to talk to. Because I can't tell you enough. Now that cloud is gone, even though I still look, life on the other side of all that, I never thought was possible, because I was so deep in my shame that I thought, back to the story, I thought I was a pedophile and a monster. But sharing it and knowing that me telling my story and having my friends and family and therapists meet me with kindness and generosity and love, like, you get to have that too. You got to take that first step. So please, please, please take that first step.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.